I'd like to welcome everyone to the Emmaus Borough Council meeting. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, for the record, Councilman Dufresne is not here this evening. At Personal Appeals Part 1, there's nobody here. And do we have anyone online?
Someone just.
All right, if the person online can hear me and you would like to make a public appeal, right now would be the time to speak up and state your name and what your appeal is. And you have 5 minutes.
I'm good, thank you.
Thank you for saying that. All right, moving on to community minute. Does anyone have anything to bring forward for community minute? Oh, tomorrow. Clyde Roy said it.
Sure, tomorrow's election day. Go out and vote. Cast your vote. Thank you.
If you didn't know that, you have to be,
Well,
yeah, locked in a room.
Watching the Phillies.
We have no special presentations. We have the October 17th meeting minutes to approve. Would somebody like to make a motion to approve the minutes? Councilman Bally, second by Councilman Hart. Any corrections or additions? All those in favor? Oh, okay.
I had 2 small ones that don't affect meetings, so I'll just send a message to those.
Okay,
That's all.
that means your punctuation, aren't they?
No, but
No?
they're small. Yeah.
Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? There are 6 ayes. We have no decisions on bids.
Who made the motion? I'm sorry.
It was Chad and then John was the second. We have 4 communications. Faith Presbyterian put an event request in for their service on the Triangle. It's a recurring event, so that staff can handle that.
Yeah, they don't need a permit because they're expecting like less
20
than-
or 30
less than
people.
20.
Yeah. All right. The Emmaus Arts Commission is put in their event form for the Snow Blast Winter Art Festival, which is going to be on February 4th, 10 to 5 o'clock. Is there any action to be taken there?
Is there any alcohol?
They are selling alcohol.
So you need to take it on the
Why is it that I don't see that?
Page 2. The bottom.
alcohol. Gotcha.
Oh, it's just a check. Okay. All right. Is there a motion to allow, and this specifically on the Triangle? The sale? It's not. Okay, it's not like, sometimes they do it in a private parking lot, but, all right, is there a motion to grant the alcohol sales for the festival? So Councilman Hart, second by Councilwoman McManaman. Any discussion?
Do they need to just have anything in the motion about police? Or-
Police already patrol level.
Okay. Just wanted to double check. Thank you.
All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? There are 6 ayes. We received a resignation from Thomas Gottner with his last day being effective November 15th. He was an EMT for our ambulance department.
Yeah, so I just want to quickly comment on that. Tom had been with us for over 8 years. It's got to the point for him that he's pulled back, he's slowed down. Tom's of the age where he feels that he's no longer doesn't have the energy to continuously do this anymore. But I will tell you that Tom was one of the first members on our Borough Safety Committee, and he was extremely helpful and effective, and extremely reliable EMT, great employee, and definitely going to miss Tom. But I do want to say thank you for everything that Tom's done for our EMS service, because he was exceptional.
So you wouldn't have an option of driving the van or?
Yeah, so we went down that road, right? We had that conversation, and he really feels like it's time.
Okay.
He's he's in his 70s now, and he feels that it's time for him to kind of back into life and enjoy a real retirement.
Okay. It's just something that popped up, so maybe.
Yeah, no, that was the third question I asked. One was, are you sure? Are you really sure? Then it was.
And then, do you want to drive the van?
Yeah, yeah, no, okay, but what about the van?
All right, and our fourth letter of communication, we got the audit that was performed on our finances, and I'm gonna refer that to budget and finance just to review that. And anybody else have a letter of communication to bring forward? All right, hearing none, Borough Engineers report, we have none, Solicitors report,
All of my items are elsewhere,
all right.
so no report in progress.
Unfinished business part 1, new business, unfinished business part 2, we have no items. Does anyone have anything to bring forward that's not on the agenda? Hearing none, Madam Mayor's report.
Thank you. You have my list of activities for the last quarter. And we had a fantastic fun-filled evening for trick or treat. We handed out 170 little trick or treat bags and we served 160 hot dogs. So,
What's the record for hot dogs? Do you know?
no, I'm not. Other than that, I'm for progress.
Thank you. We're into the committee reports, Public Works Committee, Chairman Anders.
Yes, Mr. President, nothing for official action. I did want to note that as I was driving over here, I saw many leaf piles, and our public works are out picking up leaves with the truck. So continue to put them out at the curb, and we'll be picking them up. They're doing a great job. Our next meeting is scheduled for Wednesday, November 16th at 4 p.m. via Zoom. And with that, I'll report progress.
Thank you. Health, Sanitation and Codes Committee, Chairman Balliet.
Thank you, Mr. President. A few action items tonight. The first one is Resolution 2022-39, and that is a completed sewage facilities planning module for 300 Furnace Street. They have met all the requirements needed for that, so I'd like to put that in a form of a motion to
Approve the resolution.
approve the resolution.
All right, there's a motion to approve resolution 2022-39. Is there a second? Councilman Hart, any discussion on this? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, there are 6 ayes.
Just nice to see this project.
Yeah.
Really fun.
The next is Resolution 2022-40, and this is something that we've seen a few times before the last couple of months, and I think Mr. Solicitor is going to speak about this document before we make any recommendations here for a property on 680 Ridge Street that has to do with granting rewording the conditional approvals that we had granted them before.
Correct. So this was approved previously almost verbatim as what's been, the only change is that the language at the top says 3 developed houses instead of 2. They are trying to record that because of the nature of the prior, they're approving a prior plan that's already been approved. They are not going to be recording a Mylar plan is what Mr. Stover has indicated. So they're going to record the resolution without or with the exhibits. Because of that, the bank is demanding that the specific resolution state that there's 3 developed homes on it, even though that the plans clearly state there's 3. I've made that change. I've talked to Mr. Stover. We offered to provide just a letter saying that would be sufficient. They've asked that we do a modified resolution to address this issue. There's no downside to doing it. It's simply changing language. There's no change in the structure of the plan. The plans remain the same. But in order to obtain the financing on this, they will have to, record this resolution with that specific language. So I'm happy to entertain any questions. I said I would, explain it to council.
Just one question. Is there any cost involved that pays for it? Cost doing?
There's no additional cost.
There's nothing.
I don't believe so, Shane, is there?
No, other than, the time that you spent, which was minimal.
Yeah, but they pay that anyway.
Right.
So
It's all reimbursed.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Thank you.
The rest group.
All right, so is there a motion to approve resolution 2022-40? Councilman Balliet, second. Councilman Hart. Any more discussions or questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, there are 6 ayes.
I'd also like to remind the public and also remind us that we are actively looking for members of our zoning hearing board. So if anybody has anybody out there, have them talk to the proper people. And our next meeting is going to be November 30th at 4:45. And with that, I'll report progress.
Thank you. Parks and Recreation Committee, Chairwoman Baumgartner.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have nothing for official action. The borough calendar online actually shows November 9th as a Parks and Rec meeting that was canceled, but it was scheduled for November 8th. It is canceled because we have a conflict with the budget workshop. And our next meeting will be December 6th, Tuesday via Zoom at 4:45 p.m. Progress. Yeah, 8:45. Progress.
Thank you. Public Safety Committee, Chairman Hart.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have no action items for your consideration this evening. Just a heads up, we will have two next meeting in that there were two items that were discussed that are coming forward. One is the Humane Society contract, which was under communications last month. The committee recommended to approve it, and the second one is to approve the purchase of software in the fire department. Move ahead with that will be coming forward at the next meeting for your consideration. I will also point out, as we discussed at our last meeting, the quarterly reports from the three departments.
I read them.
that you were-
There are a lot more pages now.
So they are included in your packet for consideration. Both, I should say, all three areas are very busy, and the committee does enjoy going over those reports, and the department heads so excellent in providing information to us regarding what's happening in areas where there has been delta changes, drops or increases. So there's nothing else to be considered. So the next meeting is on Thursday, December 29th. We will not be meeting on Thanksgiving at 9 a.m. on Zoom without breakfast.
Thank you.
I was looking forward.
Under General Administration Committee, we have Resolution 2022-42. It's the LSA grant application that we discussed before for 7th generation charter community, our school community amphitheater, and I believe this is basically a pass through, right?
It is.
Okay, so would somebody like to make that motion? Councilwoman Baumgartner, seconded by Councilwoman McManaman. Any more discussion or questions? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? There are 6 ayes. We have resolution 2022-43, resolution of the Council of Borough of Emmaus, Lehigh County, Pennsylvania, approving the application of a Pennsylvania Department of Community and Economic Development for the ARPA Pennsylvania Small Water and Sewer Grant Program. Shane, when I read this, the only thing I didn't see was it didn't have an amount. I'm assuming it doesn't have to. It's just approving that we're applying
Yeah,
for
so
it.
this one, we're gonna aim for the max, which is, I think, $500,000. So this is for the INI efforts for sewage. Again, it goes back to the maximizing whatever we can get towards that reduction of stormwater. So we'll be applying for the max.
And it's 30%, if I remember correctly.
30% matching. So if you remember, part of the $4 million loan. This could either offset some of that or it could go on top of that. Continue that significant amount of stormwater separation we have to get done.
All right, thank you. So would somebody like to make that motion to approve resolution 43? Councilman Hinders, seconded by Councilwoman McManaman. Any more discussion or questions? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? There are 6 ayes. We also have resolution 2022-44, a resolution of Council of the Borough of Emmaus, Lehigh County, Pennsylvania, approving the application of a Pennsylvania Department of Community and Economic Development for the H2O Pennsylvania grant program. And what is the amount that we're going for there?
Yeah, so we're going after the whole ball of wax. So this program, I think ranges from 500 to 5 million. 20 million. So this application is going to be for the rehabilitation of all of our tanks that you received that very stunning presentation regarding. It's a 50% match. So, we have to keep that in mind, but we're looking at probably over $1 million application.
Okay.
What we're doing is we're asking the company that gave you the presentation for a new quote of an upfront. Like what would an upfront cost on that be rather than, because I'm sure they have their own internal financing built into that multi-year program that they showed you. So we're asking them to give us a new quote for every one of our water tanks to rehab them. What that cost would be if we paid them.
And then we just have to pay for the maintenance program to maintain it, which would be a lot lower cost because it's not including any of the work then.
Correct.
Do we have a motion yet? No. I need a motion for resolution 44, Councilman Anders, seconded by Councilwoman Baumgartner. Any more questions or discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? There are 6 ayes. You have our meeting notes from November 3rd. And our next meeting is November 17th on Thursday at 9 a.m. via Zoom. I report progress. John, would you mind reporting for Chris on Budget and Finance Committee?
I'll be happy to, Mr. President. Resolution 2022-41. I'm going to turn over to the solicitor.
Twice in one meeting. It's not good for anybody. But just that this is actually it was just recently passed on October 11th. It's called Act 57 of 2022. It actually it seems more complicated than it is. When I explain it though, it's pretty simple. This doesn't actually affect the real estate tax receipts by the tax collector within the borough. It affects the ability for somebody who claims they never received a notice of the taxation. This allows them, there's a DCED form that is being created that allows the tax collector to essentially waive the tax collection additional fees on top of what would be the transfer tax. It has nothing to do with the actual transfer tax itself. It only creates a process by which the tax collector has the ability to waive the additional fees like the taxes and penalties. And they have to follow 4 steps. They have to attest that the tax notice wasn't received. They have to provide a request for that waiver on that form within 12 months to date. And they have to provide a copy showing when the deed was recorded. And finally, they have to pay the face amount of the value of the actual tax owed before they can get this waiver. The only reason it's before you now is because this had to be implemented within 90 days of the date of the statutory enactment under Act 57, which was October 11th. So since I had prepped this for another municipality, I simply brought it to you guys without having to do a whole lot of extra cost or work for you. So, questions?
No. Can we have a motion to approve resolution 41?
Can I ask one question?
Oh.
So how does one prove that they didn't get it? What is the burden of proof?
It's a very good question. They have to, essentially the form that they're submitting, they just make an attest, it's just an attestment and that's it.
So someone could just say, hey, I never got it. They make a judgment call if they want to do the penalties or not.
I imagine this will be litigated, but for now, in the end, the only thing you're losing would be the additional taxes and penalties that you would be recording. You're still getting the transfer tax, which is a significant amount of money to the borough, but
it just seems crazy that anyone could say, oh, well,
I'm not gonna lie to you, I don't understand it myself where this came from. This kind of caught most of us off guard, but it is what it is.
Okay. So would somebody like to make a motion to approve resolution 41?
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Councilman Hart, seconded by Councilwoman McMahon. What's the matter, people here? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, there are 6 ayes.
Budget performance is included in the packet. Resolution 2022-45 is the bill list. It's comprised of Bill list totaling $319,797.15. Two payrolls, payroll 21-22, $341,589.31. And payroll taxes, $111,875.94, for a total of $773,262.40. I'll put that in the form of a motion.
Motion by Councilman Hart, is there a second? Councilwoman Baumgartner, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, there are 6 ayes.
I would point out one of the significant expenses in your packet noted is the 2022 Ford Interceptor. Remind everyone, we had discussed this in the budget meeting and voted on to move forward, given the lag time in ordering emergency vehicles, police cars included. We found one on a lot somewhere, and it included everything, almost everything that we would put on our vehicles. And so the green light was given to go ahead and purchase it, and we did do that for $47,440.60. The next meeting is scheduled for Thursday, November 17th at 11 a.m. via Zoom, and with that, I'll report back.
So on that same memorandum where you just read about the Ford Interceptor, the last line on there, the auto locks for the park's bathrooms, says it was Fred Bean's Ford.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Fred Bean's Ford for the locks for the bathroom. Isn't that a car dealer?
It's definitely not right.
So I saw that and I kind of chuckled because that's a car dealer.
Yeah, Fred Bean Ford is who we would bought the car from. We bought the auto locks for the bathrooms from our ATS.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't think it was your car dealership. So, all right, Community Relations Planning and Development Committee, Chairwoman McManaman.
Thank you, Mr. President. Nothing for official action this evening. Our next meeting is Monday, November 14th at 4:30. I report progress.
Thank you. We have a couple of sets of meeting minutes to review, and that leads us to Personnel Appeals Part 2. We have no one here, and we still have the same person on Zoom. We'll give that person a chance to make an appeal if they would like. Are they unmuted?
No, thank you.
Thank you for saying that. That makes it so much easier. All right, that leads us to Borough Manager's report.
So, first of all, thank you for your energy all night tonight. I feel the same way, like it feels like it's 10 o'clock. It was one of those days where you just kind of kept looking at the clock going, wow, that 1 hour backwards really makes a difference. Nonetheless, firefighter promotion is on your agenda today. Kevin Farnish, again, with the union contract and the way that we created the requirements for firefighters, some people moved up and some people moved down in terms of where they were in the department. Kevin Farnish was one of those who temporarily moved down until we got some extra certifications done. He has finished those certifications, so now it's time to promote him back up to firefighter 2. So that is on your list of things that we need to do today. The second one is you have a memorandum in here for Brenton McLaughlin. Brenton has finished his probationary period for being a part-time firefighter. And you see he's been reliable, he's highly skilled. He's also an EMT and he's worked this time period. So we are also retaining Brenton as a part-time firefighter. So other than that, I know you have an executive session today to talk about personnel matters, in particular union negotiations. I'll reserve the rest of the time for that. If you have any questions, feel free to ask.
All right, under President's business, I have nothing. We'll go into executive session at 7:25 to discuss personnel and contract negotiation.
Yeah, that's
Council reconvening at 8:33 from executive session, is there a motion to adjourn? Councilman Hart, second by, oh, now you second it, Councilman Valiant. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, 6 ayes, meeting adjourned at 8:33.
Reason second mine is because nobody understands it.